It's an inevitability that we are going to have to adapt our economic model. Our very existence as a species depends on that.
But the fact of the matter is you can never reduce our footprint to zero.
We see not just the momentum in the carbon markets, but globally in terms of sustainability and the concern over our resources.
So we have to think about planet one, because we don't have a planet number 2, we don't have a planet number 3.
Consumers care deeply about this issue, how their favorite brands that they're extremely loyal to might be adversely affecting the environment.
When we go to the supermarket or when we go to purchase any products, the environmental replacement costs are not accounted for.
Whether it's a pair of sneakers or a cup of coffee, everything we consume has an environmental impact. The dairy, soybeans, clearing methane emissions. There's transport, and in the cocoa, deforestation involved, coffee industry. This is an environmental debt bomb that we are passing on to our kids.
This attacking of corporations is the wrong way to go. We have to take responsibility. One of the ways is to fund projects that are rebuilding our ecosystems.
Lots of things get our attention as being revolutionary, blockchain and tech and the advent of the iPhone and all these things that we think profoundly affect our lives, and they do. None of them are necessary for the very existence of humanity. This one is.
A carbon credit is created as 1 metric ton of an offset.
And it's the idea that you can use them to fund valuable initiatives that are doing good for the world, that are in fact directly offsetting carbon.
Buying carbon credits, I think most people don't understand. What does that really translate to in the real world?
Jim and Todd bring a significant amount of credibility to Veridium in their accomplishments with Rimbaraya.
This was a forest that would have been gone. We lost a third of it just trying to acquire the rights to protect it.
We navigated the complex government in Indonesia. We fought against a palm oil company that was trying to destroy us.
A couple of us flew out to San Francisco and we spent a day with them, and we're more or less blown away at the vision.
Their vision is that this is major, it is a fundamental shift in capital markets. We want to be on board in the technology side.
When you work with Veridium, you're working with people that have actually been on the ground, have seen this firsthand, that know how projects work, they understand the validation, the stringency, all the standards that have to be met.
There are 51 carbon markets. We have state-level markets in the United States, not federal. In Canada, they have provincial-level markets. China is entering this market at the federal level, so it's kind of all over the place. They could have a major global role to play in a market that's very diffuse.
Veridium is a project of which its time has come. It's relevant in today's world, and it's going to become even more relevant.
We create tools that enable companies to price in the environmental impacts of the products that they produce and the products that we consume.
But let's just say for a candy bar, it's 1 cent. Would you pay 1 cent to offset the impact of that candy bar?
Understanding carbon markets is difficult. The global supply chain of a Fortune 500 company and the thousands of products they produce and the thousands of input per product, and understand the climate impact of each of those inputs.
I believe this is a huge opportunity to get in early. The momentum's already building.
What is missing from this market are transparency, linkages, and pricing.
Blockchain is actually the perfect solution.
And this is where IBM comes in.
How do we solve a pressing problem and do so in a way that's seamless and easy and is part of their everyday process?
I think it's an interesting time from a market perspective. I think it's an interesting time from a technology perspective in terms of blockchain.
Can you build in trust? Can you build in usability?
We've seen it applied and we've seen it used in the cryptocurrency markets. I think it's a great time to apply that to more relevant products such as commodity asset-backed digital tokens.
We can put carbon credits on the blockchain and track them, transfer them.
We believe that blockchain unlocks a lot of the original potential that carbon credits were made for.
There's a couple of ways that we use blockchain for social good. So for us working with Veridium, it was really a perfect match.
They wanted something that is going to change the world.
We understand environmental asset markets. To be able to then tokenize those and to integrate that into IBM's existing platforms is amazing.
No one is doing right now what Veridium is attempting to do in natural capital.
By using Veridium, the financial services industry, fast-moving consumer goods, pension funds, oil companies, gas companies, etc., all could be at the forefront of this.
Mounting pressures from investors, retail investors, consumers, the younger generation that's more concerned about our resources. It's more important in the day-to-day decision-making on their part. Where do they want to invest their money?
A very powerful marketing message, can come from using their status and using their power to be able to solve for something that's so much more important to people at the end of the day.
That will certainly lead to brand awareness, brand appreciation, and then ultimately translate into, of course, shareholder value appreciation.
The platform that we're building is going to allow companies to easily access the carbon credit markets in a digitized fashion. This is going to be huge. Ease of access is going to be key and low cost.
If you're interested in having an environmental impact, I would take a hard look at what Veridium Labs is offering in terms of carbon credits. I think the success story will be Veridium leading the way.